Okay, Pops. One of the great things we have at our disposal, the YAA community. So we have a channel back at joinyaa.com, become a community member. It's
Yes.
called Review My Deal. This is a premium members channel, so you got to pay to get access to this one. That's not what we're talking about in this video. We're talking about how to negotiate car deals right now in 2021 amidst all that's going on. What I thought we'd do is
Yes.
we could look at some of these deals that are here in the Review My Deal channel, of which there are
Zillions.
a lot. You've been busy.
I'm in, buddy. I'm in.
All right, let's.
You know what the
click on
good
one.
news is, folks? Haven't reviewed any of these before we started.
So let's see what's going on though. Let's see
Okay.
like what the
Okay.
reality is. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is from a community member named RM.
Yeah.
Shopping for a 2021 CX-5 Mazda CX-5 Carbon Edition all-wheel drive in their zip code.
Yeah.
From the Mazda window sticker, so it's a $30,355 MSRP plus the destination
yes.
fee, and some of the options that come
Yes.
as options from the OEM. 31,880 is the MSRP.
Okay.
So let's see what the dealership sent them. Selling price.
MSRP. Go figure.
Doc fee,
Yeah.
license, title, ERT, which must be some sort of local fee,
Yes.
the Illinois state tax, county flat tax. So what are you thinking? The question is anyone doing better than MSRP on the carbon editions? How do you negotiate this, or is this the reality of buying a Mazda CX-5 in 2021?
Well, if you're trying to stay local, it very well might be the reality of trying to buy one of these at this particular point in time. As we have noted any number of times when we've looked at the current incentives, or as I like to say, current lack thereof, there's very little in the way of incentives that the manufacturers are utilizing to try and help the dealer body move the vehicles because, well, there's no vehicles for the dealer body to move. So if there is a Mazda dealer out there looking at a carbon edition and not marking it up $1,000 or several $1,000s and is more than willing to sell it for MSRP, which in normal times would be a number that you wouldn't pay for a car, but in today's world is a number that you might be willing to pay for a car, then I think that's probably the sad reality.
And then this is what's super cool about the community. So if you look at this, Dad, so Justice reminded us that there was the other thread with CX-5 guy.
Yeah.
You gotta love that some of the members of the community are literally CX-5 people,
Yeah.
who actually negotiated a really solid deal. This is back on the success story.
Yes.
D-Mom got this CX-5 Turbo Carbon Edition
Yes.
for a great price.
Yes.
You can see Justice with the
Yes.
with the Jim Halpert. Yes.
Yes.
So linking back to that, and then you've got CX-5 guy telling us actually the inventories for carbons are still somewhat reasonable. This is the power of the community.
Yes.
You can leverage the community, and then you can also run the market price reports. But I think your advice is sound. How do you negotiate this deal? You just did. If you're going to stay in your market area, you just did. This is the deal. There's no markup on this.
This very well might be the deal. Maybe you can say, hey, could you do me a favor and knock $200-$400 off? Can we make it $31,500 plus fees? To compensate for the dock fee of $303.60. Something like that. But I don't think the likelihood is there of getting 3, 4, 5, 6% off like you normally could, because there's just not enough money coming back to the dealer from the manufacturer, because, well, Mazda doesn't have to put money on the car at the moment.
Let's look at another one, Pops. Let's look at, we had
Can I share something with you that you don't know about?
Yeah,
but
please.
Our dear friend Alex, our Alaska Sound guy, he sent me a story out of Drive magazine or something like that of a Mitsubishi Mirage, which was a $17,900 MSRP car that had just $5,995 in additional dealer markup, which, is like a third of the value of the car. That gives you some idea as to what dealers think they can get away with in this marketplace.
And that's why I actually think this deal go ahead.
Well, the scary part is that the Mirage at $17,900 MSRP is probably about $6,000 overpriced to begin with.
So this is why I pulled up this particular OTD quote, though, Dad. This comes from Daniel.
Yes.
He's looking to buy a 2022. And the reason that I pulled this up is because it's a really good example of what dealers are doing right now. They might be padding with additional dealer markup, which is something that is 100, 1,000, 1,000,000% negotiable.
Yes.
And you should push back against additional dealer markup. markup. But here's an example from an Acura dealership that's selling at MSRP, $1,000 rebate from Acura.
Yeah.
So there's a $1,000 Acura MDX rebate in his area.
Yes.
But then look what they're doing. They're adding the wheel locks and the window edge. Not too terribly egregious in this case. It's like $550. So it's not the end of the world, but that's what is negotiable on a deal like this. Or you tell us, how are you, if you were in the market to buy?
Well, this is a 2022 MDX,
Yep.
which just came out, which they're in short supply to begin with.
Yep.
And obviously one of the more desirable vehicles that Acura makes. I believe their number one selling vehicle is the MDX, and if it's not the MDX, it's the RDX. So yes, you have a dealer that's not necessarily marking it up, that's willing to sell the car at MSRP. Once again, this is a situation where I would try and negotiate the dealer installed accessories. I mean, the window etch at $349 or $399, whatever it was. I mean, that's got a cost to the dealership of $50. Max.
Yep.
The wheel locks actually have greater cost to the dealership than the window etch. And I think they were only charging $149 for the wheel locks. But my suspicion is that you might be able to negotiate those items to some degree.
And let's talk strategy, because I think, and I put it here on the community, I said to Daniel, hey, this is a pretty typical deal right about now. However, I ran the market price report, which I did.
Yes.
This vehicle's been sitting for 11 days. The average in your area is 22 days.
Yeah.
Right. But then you go down and you look at the other vehicles and you look at them based on negotiability, and you can start to see there are some that have been sitting for a bit longer.
Yes.
Will they have necessarily all the same options? I'm not sure. You got to look in and do the research. They're the same trim though, but and look, that's one thing you can do though, is the same tactic we used to talk about all the time a year ago, 18 months ago, which is get multiple dealers to quote you out the door prices and then get them to work against one another.
It still applies.
And in Daniel's case, it's a really good example. Look, there are quite a few that have high negotiability scores.
Yes.
Quite a few that have been sitting for way longer than 22 days in that area. And so work the one dealer against themselves and like the markup or the add-ons that they're putting on the vehicle, but then get quotes from other dealerships and be prepared to have them work against one another.
Yes.
That still can work.
And if you can't get anybody to work against each other, then just do your best to get as much off as you possibly can from the dealer, because they realize there's all that extra money in those between the window etch, and they can effectively afford to give some of that up, and they're still doing quite well with the amount of markup built into the MDX.
Absolutely. Okay, so here's what we're doing. You can get your deals reviewed. This is why we built the community forum out. There's people beyond just us on there who are helping people incredibly, like doing yeoman's work, pulling references and resources from other deals. Like, it's starting to really become valuable. So run reports there, or run your market price reports, put your deals back there. But how to negotiate in 2021? Push back against the add-ons, push back against the additional dealer markup. And if you see other vehicles, especially new vehicles, that there are inventory of, contact multiple dealerships. Go outside your local area, contact multiple dealerships.
Remain flexible as far as color combinations are concerned. Don't lock in on just one specific color with one specific interior. Be flexible in color so that you might be able to take advantage of a situation where a dealer is willing to negotiate more on a color that you might not have necessarily been interested in initially.
Well said, Pops.
Yeah, because the ultimate color is saving of the green. That was my
Clip that.
My Irish for the day.
Well done. Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome.